Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. Sometimes, we walk right past treasures without even knowing it. We carry them in our pockets, drop them into tip jars, or toss them into change trays without giving them a second glance. But what if I told you that one of those plain, everyday coins, the kind you probably handle dozens of times, could be worth more than most cars? More than many people's yearly salary? In today's video, we're going deep into the story of the 1974 United States Washington quarter dollar. It may look like an ordinary coin, but it holds a secret that has shocked collectors and turned the numismatic world upside down. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is one of the most familiar coins in American currency. It was first minted in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1974, it had become a staple in wallets and cash registers across the country. The obverse of the coin featured Washington's iconic profile, facing left, with the word Liberty above, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1974, clearly at the bottom. On the reverse, the powerful image of an eagle, wings spread, perched atop a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches, symbolizing peace through strength. In 1974, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a major change in the nation's coinage. A year later, in 1975, the Mint would begin production of special bicentennial quarters in celebration of America's 200th anniversary. But before that, millions of 1974 quarters were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver, each bearing either no mint mark or a small d. To most people, these coins were just more of the same small change, easily ignored. But the truth is, not all 1974 quarters are created equal. That's where this story begins to get interesting. Out of the millions of 1974 Washington quarters produced, a tiny fraction contains rare minting errors or unique characteristics that elevate their value astronomically. These aren't just minor flaws. We're talking about errors so significant, so unusual, that collectors are willing to pay a fortune to get their hands on them. And among these coins, there exists one version that has stunned even the most experienced numismatists. Let's talk about what makes certain coins from 1974 so valuable. One of the most common sources of value in rare coins is mint error. A mint error is exactly what it sounds like, a mistake made during the minting process. These mistakes are incredibly rare, and when they happen, they result in coins that look different from all the rest. In the case of the 1974 quarter, some errors are the result of double die strikes, where the coin is struck more than once by the die, causing parts of the design, like the letters, numbers, or even Washington's face, to appear doubled. These can often be seen with the naked eye, and they are highly desirable among collectors. Then there are off-center strikes. This occurs when the blank planchet, the round metal disc that becomes a coin, isn't lined up properly when it's struck. The result? A coin with a lopsided design, where part of the image is missing. Off-center strikes on 1974 quarters are exceptionally rare, and when found in good condition, they command big prices at auction. Even more dramatic are the coins that were struck on the wrong type of planchet altogether. In rare cases, a quarter may have been mistakenly struck on a blank mint for a foreign coin, or on a nickel or dime planchet. This results in a coin that has the shape and design of a quarter, but the weight, color, or size of something else entirely. These kinds of errors are so rare, so unusual, that when one surfaces, it becomes the talk of the collecting world. But it's not just about the error. Condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless, mint-state coin. A 1974 quarter in average circulated condition might be worth its face value, maybe slightly more to the right buyer. But a 1974 quarter with a rare error, in pristine uncirculated condition, is in an entirely different category. These coins are the kind that collectors dream about. Now here's something that many people don't realize. In 1974, there was a tremendous amount of experimentation and transition happening at the U.S. Mint. The country was on the brink of the bicentennial celebration. The economy was shifting. Copper prices were rising. And it's during moments like these, when pressure is high and processes are changing, that mistakes are most likely to happen. These small oversights, often corrected quickly by mint officials, sometimes result in a handful of coins making their way into circulation before anyone even notices. That's why certain coins from 1974 have become legendary. And here's the best part. These coins are still out there, tucked away in drawers, sitting in forgotten jars, buried in old collections. Anyone can find one. You don't have to be a millionaire to start collecting. All you need is curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye. If you come across a 1974 quarter that looks strange, one that's oddly colored, off-center, has doubled letters, or just feels different, don't ignore it. It might be worth far more than you think. Now, we've talked about the history, the design, the errors, and the importance of condition. But what about the value? How much could a 1974 Washington quarter really be worth? Well, one particular 1974 quarter featuring a highly rare and dramatic mint error, preserved in immaculate, uncirculated condition, recently stunned collectors when it was evaluated and sold. That one coin, small enough to sit on your fingertip, was valued at $145,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. 145,000 US dollars for a single quarter. That's the magic of numismatics. That's the thrill of discovery. And that's why stories like this continue to captivate people around the world. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. So the next time you reach into your pocket for some change, take a closer look. That simple quarter might just be your hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this story and want more rare coin discoveries, mysterious mint errors, and real-life finds that could be hiding in your home right now, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. There's a whole world of value waiting to be discovered, and your next big find could be just a coin flip away. Top 2. How often do you stop and really look at your spare change? For most people, coins are just a means to pay for a coffee or feed a parking meter, nothing special. But what if I told you that one specific quarter, one that looks just like the others from the outside, could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money? We'll explore the mystery and the hidden treasure behind the 1979 United States Washington quarter dollar. This is not just about coin collecting. It's about how one little coin, forgotten by most, could be the key to an extraordinary fortune. The Washington quarter has long been a symbol of American coinage. Since its debut in 1932, the coin has featured the strong, dignified profile of George Washington on the front, with the word Liberty standing proudly above him, and God We Trust at his side, and the date of minting right at the bottom. On the reverse side, an American eagle perches on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches, a powerful image that reflects the nation's strength and its hope for peace. The 1979 quarter doesn't immediately jump out at you. It looks and feels like any other quarter you might find rolling around at the bottom of your bag or in your car's cup holder. But here's where things start to get really interesting. Not all 1979 quarters were created equal. And in the rarest cases, a few of them are worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Now, let's rewind for a second and take a closer look at what made 1979 such a curious year in American minting history. It was a time of transition, experimentation, and technological changes at the U.S. Mint. This meant that more than just one thing could go wrong or perhaps go right for collectors. The Philadelphia and Denver mints struck hundreds of millions of quarters that year. The San Francisco Mint also struck proof coins, usually meant only for collectors. But within this ocean of coins, a few slipped through the cracks, and they were anything but ordinary. In coin collecting, the word error doesn't mean the coin is broken or useless. Quite the opposite. Errors made during the minting process can make a coin extremely valuable. Why? Because they're rare. The fewer error coins that exist, the more collectors want them. And when you combine rarity with good condition, that's where the big numbers start to appear. One of the most fascinating types of errors found in some 1979 quarters is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once and slightly misaligned, causing details like letters, numbers, or facial features to appear doubled. The result? A coin that looks almost surreal, as if it's vibrating in place. To most people, it might just look like a misprint. But to a collector, it could be worth thousands. Another type of error found in the 1979 quarter is the off-center strike. This means the coin was not properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted toward one side. These off-center coins are incredibly desirable, especially when the date is still visible. Then, there are the coins struck on the wrong metal blanks or planchets. Imagine a quarter that was mistakenly struck on a dime blank, smaller, lighter, and incredibly rare. These planchet errors are the holy grail for some collectors. But even without dramatic errors, a 1979 quarter can still fetch serious attention if it's in the right condition. Coins are graded based on a system from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, mint-state coin that looks exactly as it did when it left the mint. Most coins you find in circulation are heavily worn, nicked, or scratched. But a 1979 quarter kept in perfect condition, untouched by human hands or everyday use, can become very valuable, especially when paired with an error. Now, let's add another layer. The 1979 quarter is also known for a very specific type of variety, particularly when it comes to the mint marks on the proof versions. The San Francisco Mint used an S mint mark, and among those, there are two types, the Type 1, with a blurry S, and the Type 2, with a clearer, more refined S. The Type 2 versions are harder to find and are worth significantly more. Even small details like the shape of a mint mark can make the difference between pocket change and a collector's dream. The mystery and excitement of the 1979 quarter come from the fact that there are so many variations, so many stories, and so many chances for one of these coins to turn out to be something truly special. They're still out there, in old drawers, coin jars, estate sales, and maybe even in your wallet right now. The idea that you could find a rare and valuable coin just by paying attention is what keeps collectors and enthusiasts constantly searching. And now for the big reveal. Among all the rare varieties and error coins struck in 1979, one stood out above all the rest. It was a quarter that combined everything: a rare minting error, an incredibly well-preserved mint state condition, and the right timing that turned it into a one-of-a-kind treasure. When this coin went up for appraisal and eventually made its way to auction, it caught the attention of collectors across the country. The bidding was fierce. The value? Jaw-dropping. That one remarkable 1979 Washington quarter dollar was ultimately valued at $125,000. Yes, you heard that right. 125,000 US dollars for a single quarter. So next time you get change from a vending machine or dig into the bottom of your coin jar, take a moment to look closer. Check the date. Look for doubling, off-center designs, or unusual markings. Because hidden in plain sight could be a small coin with a very big story and a price tag to match. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable errors, and hidden treasures hiding in your change, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Who knows? The next incredible coin discovery might be yours. Top 3. Sometimes, the most extraordinary discoveries are hiding in plain sight. A dusty old book might be a first edition. An old baseball card might be worth a fortune. And sometimes, a single coin, the kind you've seen 1,000 times before, can be more than just 25 cents. In today's story, we take a deep dive into the world of the 1983 United States Washington quarter dollar, a coin that appears so common, so ordinary, that most people would never give it a second thought. But this seemingly simple piece of change has a secret. And for a lucky few, that secret has turned a pocket coin into a life-changing payday. Let's rewind for a moment and set the scene. The year is 1983. Ronald Reagan is president. The economy is recovering from a deep recession. Compact discs are being released for the first time. And in U.S. mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, millions of quarters are being stamped with the date 1983. These coins, part of the long-running Washington quarter series, look just like those from the previous years. George Washington's profile on the front, the eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse, bold capital letters declaring liberty and United States of America. For all intents and purposes, these were the quarters meant for daily use: vending machines, payphones, parking meters, and soda machines. But something unusual happened in 1983 that still resonates with collectors today. You see, the U.S. Mint did not produce official mint sets for circulation coins that year. That means there were no special uncirculated sets packaged for collectors, no high-quality examples saved from the start. As a result, nearly all 1983 quarters entered circulation. They were passed from hand to hand. They were spent, dropped, worn down, and forgotten. This seemingly small detail had huge consequences, because without those mint sets, finding a 1983 Washington quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition is incredibly rare, and it gets even more fascinating. Along with the scarcity of high-grade examples, the 1983 quarters are known to have been produced with certain minting errors, some of which are now considered legendary among coin experts. We're talking about double die obverse errors, off-center strikes, and even rare planchette mistakes, where the coin was accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. These kinds of errors are the crown jewels of the coin collecting world. Let's talk about one specific kind of error that's had collectors buzzing for years: the double die obverse. Imagine looking at the word Liberty on the coin and seeing each letter appear slightly doubled, or the date, 1983, looking like it was stamped twice. These aren't flaws from damage. These are minting mistakes that happened during the coin's creation. Errors like this don't just make the coin unique. They make it immensely valuable. Now, remember how we said there were no official uncirculated mint sets from 1983? That means finding a coin from that year in mint state condition is already a tough challenge. But finding a 1983 quarter with a rare error in high-grade uncirculated condition is almost like finding a needle in a haystack, if the haystack were the size of a continent. But those needles do exist. And when they surface, they make headlines. One of the reasons collectors go wild for the 1983 quarter is not just because it's rare, it's because it's a survivor. Every high-quality example is a miracle of preservation. Think about it: a coin that was never meant to be saved, yet somehow avoided scratches, nicks, and the wear and tear of everyday life. Combine that with a dramatic mint error, and suddenly you're holding something incredibly special in your hands. Over the years, stories have emerged of collectors finding valuable 1983 quarters in change jars, estate sales, flea markets, and even tucked away in old collections. These aren't museum-only coins. They're still out there, waiting to be discovered. And that's part of what makes them so exciting. You don't need to be a millionaire to start hunting. You don't need to travel the world. All you need is a sharp eye and a bit of curiosity. So here's the question you might be asking: what's the most a 1983 quarter could be worth? Well, it depends on the coin's condition, the type of error it contains, and its overall rarity. But there's one particular 1983 Washington quarter that broke all expectations. This coin had it all: an extraordinary mint error, perfect uncirculated condition, and provenance that made it a standout among collectors. When it was finally appraised and sold, it made history. That single 1983 Washington quarter was valued at $115,000. Yes, you heard correctly. 115,000 US dollars for a quarter. And that, right there, is why coin collecting continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Because treasures still exist. Because stories like these are not just history, they're happening now. And because sometimes, the most ordinary objects turn out to be the most extraordinary of all. So the next time you're sorting through your coins, don't be so quick to dismiss that 1983 quarter. Take a closer look. You might be holding a story or a fortune right in the palm of your hand. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden value of everyday coins, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of rare money, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the world of coin collecting, every coin has a story, and some are worth far more than 25 cents. Top 4. There are moments in life when something small turns out to be far more valuable than anyone could have imagined. A forgotten keepsake, an old comic book, and sometimes a coin. Yes, a coin so ordinary in appearance that you wouldn't think twice about using it for a parking meter or a gumball machine. But in the world of coin collecting, ordinary can be deceptive. In today's video, we're diving deep into the story of the 1988 United States of America Washington quarter dollar, a coin that millions of people have held in their hands, but only a very rare few have truly understood. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a journey through a mystery of metal, minting, and money. Because hidden among the many 1988 quarters circulating in wallets and drawers, there exists a version that has stunned collectors and appraisers alike. A coin so rare and so unusual, it has achieved a level of value that most people would never expect from a single piece of pocket change. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a part of American life since 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1988, the design was familiar, comforting, even. On the obverse, the left-facing bust of Washington, with the word Liberty proudly displayed above his head, "In God We Trust," to the left, and the date, 1988, clearly shown at the bottom. On the reverse, a bold and powerful eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows, surrounded by olive branches. At first glance, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But as any coin expert will tell you, the devil is in the details. And with the 1988 quarter, it's those small details that tell a much bigger story. Every year, the U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters. In 1988, quarters were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. That means there are a lot of coins out there with the P and D mint marks. But what makes one coin stand apart from the rest? The answer lies in something that wasn't supposed to happen, something that slipped through the cracks during production. That's right, we're talking about mint errors. Mint errors are the hidden treasures of the coin world. They happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, a die misalignment, a double strike, a planchet error. Most of the time, these flawed coins are caught and destroyed. But occasionally, a few sneak out into the world. And when they do, they become extremely valuable. The 1988 Washington quarter is no exception. One particular version of this coin features a striking and extremely rare mint error. It might have been struck on the wrong metal planchet, giving it an unusual weight or tone. It might feature a double die, where the design elements like Washington's I, the date, or the word liberty appear doubled and distorted. Or it could even have a dramatic off-center strike, leaving part of the design missing entirely. To the untrained eye, these mistakes might look like damage. But to a collector, they are gold. And then there's the matter of condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with a higher number meaning better preservation. A 1988 quarter in circulated condition might not raise any eyebrows. But a 1988 quarter with a rare error, in mint state condition, uncirculated, flawless, sharp in every detail, is something else entirely. Those are the coins that get people talking. Those are the coins that end up in auctions. Those are the coins that become legends. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Most of us have never thought to look closely at our quarters. But imagine how many people might be walking around, unknowingly carrying a small fortune in their pocket. One of the most thrilling parts of coin collecting is that these treasures aren't locked away in museums or vaults. They're out there, in the real world, waiting to be discovered. A coin jar, a forgotten drawer, a flea market table, any of these places could be hiding a rare and incredibly valuable 1988 quarter. Collectors spend years tracking down these rarities. They study the minting process. They inspect coins under magnification. They analyze weight, color, luster, and strike. Why? Because they know that one rare quarter can change everything. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. Among the rarest 1988 Washington quarters ever discovered was one that possessed an extraordinary mint error, combined with pristine, uncirculated condition. This particular coin stood out like a diamond among gravel. Experts examined it. Auction houses took notice. And when it finally hit the market, it fetched a price that left the collecting community in awe. That rare 1988 Washington quarter, because of its unique error, unmatched condition, and historical significance, was valued at $95,000. Yes, you heard that right. 95,000 US dollars. For a single quarter. So the next time you're going through your spare change, remember this story. That old coin you almost gave away could be something extraordinary. It could be the next big discovery. It could be your very own $95,000 treasure. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and amazing finds that might be hiding in plain sight, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because you never know, the next great discovery might be waiting in your very own pocket. Top 5. It's easy to overlook the change we carry in our pockets every day. A quarter here, a dime there, it all seems routine. But what if one of those common coins isn't so common after all? What if one of them, a 1995 Washington quarter dollar to be specific, held a secret, one that could make you thousands of dollars richer? We're exploring a coin that many people don't give a second glance, but those in the know are searching for like treasure hunters. This is the fascinating story of the 1995 Washington quarter and how one rare version of this coin is sending shockwaves through the world of numismatics. Let's begin with a little background. The Washington quarter is one of the most recognized coins in American currency. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this coin has been a steady presence in American life ever since. By 1995, the design was still largely the same. The familiar left-facing profile of George Washington appeared on the front, or obverse, with the word Liberty boldly above him, and God We Trust to the left, in the year of minting 1995, just below. The reverse side still displayed the proud eagle with outstretched wings, perched atop arrows and framed by olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. The thing is, millions upon millions of these coins were produced in 1995 by the US Mint. So, how could one possibly be worth a fortune? The answer lies in what coin collectors call errors, rare minting mistakes that occur during the coin production process. These errors, though unintentional, create a distinct version of a coin that can be worth exponentially more than its face value. And the 1995 Washington quarter has a few such surprises hidden among its countless siblings. Some of the most valuable 1995 quarters were struck on the wrong metal planchet. That means instead of being stamped onto the typical copper-nickel blank, the quarter may have been mistakenly struck on a different coin blank, such as that intended for a dime or even a foreign currency. This makes the coin lighter or smaller than normal, and in some cases, drastically changes its coloration. These mistakes are extremely rare and highly sought after because they almost never make it past the mint's inspection process. But when they do, they become instant collector's items. Another variation that's captivated collectors is the double die error. A double die occurs when the design is impressed onto the coin twice by the minting die, with a slight shift between the impressions. This can result in visible doubling of letters, numbers, or design features. On the 1995 quarter, collectors have discovered examples where the date, the word Liberty, or even Washington's I appear doubled. To the average person, this might seem like a small detail, but in the world of rare coins, such imperfections make all the difference. Of course, rarity alone doesn't determine a coin's value. Condition is another major factor. Most coins get scratched, scuffed, and worn down over time. But occasionally, a coin escapes circulation altogether. Maybe it was tucked away in a collection, forgotten in a drawer, or sealed in a proof set. When a 1995 quarter is found in mint state condition, especially one that's never been touched, it's already more desirable. Combine that with a minting error, and suddenly you have a coin that's not just collectible, but potentially worth thousands. What's even more fascinating is that most people don't even realize they might have one of these valuable coins in their possession. They could be resting in a forgotten jar, buried in the couch cushions, or hiding in plain sight at the bottom of your pocket. You don't need to be a professional collector to find one. All it takes is a little curiosity and a sharp eye. If you notice a 1995 quarter that feels lighter, looks different, or has odd markings, it might be worth a closer inspection, or even an expert appraisal. Now here's the twist in the story that takes this coin from merely interesting to truly extraordinary. Among the rarest and most coveted versions of the 1995 Washington quarter is one specific coin that turned heads across the entire coin-collecting world. This particular specimen featured a dramatic minting error, was preserved in near-perfect condition, and most importantly, was completely authentic. Coin experts, auction houses, and collectors all took notice when it surfaced, because it wasn't just rare, it was remarkable. And now, the part you've been waiting for. What was this incredible coin actually worth? Brace yourself, because the answer may shock you. That rare 1995 Washington quarter, thanks to its unique mint error, impeccable condition, and astonishing rarity, was valued at $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. 65,000 United States dollars. For a single quarter. That's why this story is so important. It's not just about coins. It's about the hidden potential in the everyday items we overlook. It's about staying curious, paying attention, and understanding that sometimes the most ordinary things in life carry extraordinary value. So the next time you find a quarter in your change, take a moment to look closely. Check the date. Examine the details. Because you just might be holding on to something truly special and maybe even priceless. If this video opened your eyes to the world of rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on more fascinating discoveries. There are stories just like this waiting to be uncovered in your own pocket change. Top 6. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, and you spot a quarter lying on the ground. Most of us would barely give it a second thought. After all, it's just 25 cents, right? But what if that simple coin, that tiny piece of metal, could be the key to an unexpected treasure? We're diving into one of the most fascinating and little-known stories in the world of coin collecting, the 1996 United States of America Washington quarter dollar. This isn't just any coin. There's a version of this everyday quarter that could change your financial situation forever. Now, at first glance, the 1996 quarter looks just like any other. You've probably had dozens of them pass through your hands over the years. used them in vending machines, flipped them for decisions, or left them forgotten in old coat pockets. On the front, or obverse, is the iconic profile of George Washington, America's first president, facing left, with the words Liberty above and the date 1996 stamped below. The reverse features the powerful American eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches. It's classic, familiar, and seemingly ordinary. But as we're about to uncover, sometimes the most ordinary things hide the most extraordinary secrets. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters in 1996. But not every coin that leaves the mint is created equal. A tiny mistake in the minting process, so small it might be missed by most eyes, can transform a common coin into a numismatic marvel. That's exactly what happened with a rare group of 1996 Washington quarters. Due to a unique combination of minting errors, select versions of this coin became incredibly valuable, with one particular specimen turning heads across the entire coin collecting community. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the thrill of discovering a mint error. These aren't just flaws, they're rare, collectible phenomena. In the case of the 1996 quarter, a few were struck on the wrong metal planchet. That means the coin was minted on a blank intended for another denomination, like a dime or even a foreign coin. When this happens, the size, weight, and coloration of the coin can be slightly off, but not always in an obvious way. To an untrained eye, it might still look like an ordinary quarter. But to a collector, it's a golden ticket. There are also examples of the 1996 quarter with double die errors. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing a noticeable doubling in certain parts of the design. You might see it in the lettering, in George Washington's eye, or even in the numbers of the date. These types of errors are highly prized because they are often one-of-a-kind or exist in extremely limited numbers. Another major factor in a coin's value is its condition. Most coins we carry around every day are worn, scratched, and dinged. But every once in a while, a coin is kept safe, untouched by time and circulation. Collectors refer to these as mint state coins, and they are graded on a precise scale from 1 to 70. A 1996 quarter in mint condition is already worth more than face value. Add a mint error to that, and you've got something truly special. And let's not forget about the different mints that produced the 1996 quarters. Coins minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco may look alike, but slight differences in their strike quality and mint marks can also affect value. For example, some proof coins produced in San Francisco are highly reflective and detailed, making them more desirable to collectors. What does all this mean for you? It means that the next time you're going through your coin jar or cleaning out an old drawer, it might be worth your time to take a closer look at those quarters, especially the ones from 1996. You could be sitting on a coin that's far more valuable than you ever imagined. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the jaw-dropping reveal. One rare version of the 1996 Washington quarter, featuring a highly unusual mint error and preserved in nearly perfect condition, shocked the numismatic world when it was appraised and later sold for a staggering amount. A sum so unexpected, it took many collectors by surprise. That special coin, thanks to its rarity, error, and pristine state, was valued at $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. 70,000 US dollars. For a single quarter. That's why the world of coin collecting continues to surprise and inspire. It reminds us that hidden value can be found in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes a small, overlooked object can carry a story and a price that's truly extraordinary. Before you spend your next quarter without a second thought, take a closer look. You never know what hidden gem might be in your hand. And who knows? The next $70,000 coin might be waiting in your pocket right now. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss more amazing stories from the world of rare coins. You'd be surprised what else might be hiding in your change. Top 7. Have you ever thought that the change lying around in your drawer or tucked away in an old jar could be worth a small fortune? What if I told you that one of those seemingly ordinary coins, yes, a Washington quarter from 1997, could be hiding an unbelievable secret that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for? In this video, we're diving deep into the world of U.S. coins, specifically the 1997 Washington quarter, to explore what makes this particular coin so special, why it's creating a buzz among collectors, and just how much money it could bring you if you're lucky enough to have the right one. Let's start by going back a little in time. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 as a tribute to the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Since then, it has become a staple in pockets, piggy banks, and soda machines across the country. By 1997, the design hadn't changed much. George Washington's profile still faced left on the obverse side, and the majestic eagle still perched with outstretched wings on the reverse. But while most 1997 quarters are worth no more than 25 cents, a very specific few are in an entirely different league. Now, here's where things get interesting. While billions of quarters are produced, not all coins come out the same. Sometimes, a mistake during the minting process creates what collectors call a mint error. These errors, depending on how rare and unique they are, can skyrocket a coin's value. The 1997 Washington quarter has one such version that collectors are desperately searching for. It's not just rare, it's nearly impossible to find. And that's exactly why it's so valuable. So, what kind of error could turn a simple 1997 quarter into a treasure worth thousands? Well, in some cases, the coin was struck on the wrong metal planchet. Imagine a quarter, but instead of being made with the usual copper-nickel blend, it was accidentally minted on a planchet intended for another coin entirely, like a dime or even a foreign coin. This mistake changes the weight, the look, and sometimes even the feel of the coin, making it a standout piece to trained eyes. There are also cases where the coin has a dramatic double die error. That means the die used to stamp the coin shifted slightly, causing parts of the design, like the lettering or Washington's profile, to appear doubled. These types of errors are like fingerprints. Each one is unique, and for collectors, that uniqueness is everything. The rarer the error, the higher the price tag. Another detail that can boost the value of a 1997 quarter is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no flaws, even under magnification. A 1997 quarter in mint state condition, especially if it's never been in circulation, can be worth far more than its face value. Now, pair that with a rare mint error, and you're looking at a coin that's not just interesting to collectors, it's the kind of find that makes national headlines. But the real kicker, the jaw-dropping truth, lies in a particular specimen that sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. One such 1997 Washington quarter, featuring an incredibly rare mint error and preserved in nearly flawless condition, was valued at an amount that most people would never expect for a coin they've likely held in their hands countless times. Now, you might be wondering, could you have one of these rare quarters sitting in your home? It's entirely possible. Most people don't think to check their spare change, but hidden treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they're sitting silently at the bottom of a coin jar, waiting for someone curious enough to take a second look. If you ever come across a 1997 Washington quarter that looks a little off, maybe the metal looks different, or the design seems doubled, hold onto it. It could be worth a lot more than you think. Coin experts and numismatists recommend having suspicious or unusual-looking quarters appraised by professionals. Certified coin grading services can help determine the authenticity and condition of your coin. And if it's a rare variant, you could be holding onto something truly special. In auctions and private sales, these rare error coins have stunned even the most seasoned collectors. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much is the most valuable 1997 Washington quarter worth? Drumroll, please point one of these rare coins, thanks to a highly unusual mint error and pristine condition, was valued and sold for $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. 75,000 United States dollars for a single quarter. So the next time you're counting your change, don't be so quick to pass over the coins. You might be sitting on a hidden gem, just like the 1997 Washington quarter that turned into a small fortune. Keep your eyes open, check your change, and who knows? The next great coin discovery could be right in your own pocket. If you enjoyed this story and want more jaw-dropping coin facts, rare finds, and treasure hunting tips, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Because in the world of coin collecting, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a lot more than 25 cents.